All right, y'all. We've been through 2 more episodes of Love and Marriage Huntsville since we took a week off. Last week, really, the last episode really was just this back and forth between Kiki and Tiffany. Kiki is finding a way to blame everybody for the shit that she was low-key perpetrating, or high-key, because it was a lot she didn't say, and she was being messy, and she's under the impression that everybody just got her confused. So as far as Kiki coming back and saying everybody just blew up what she was saying, I want to know y'all thoughts on Kiki.
It's given I want to be on the show and I'm going to fight for my spot, Carlos. Is what it's given. Because her having an issue with Kimmy seemed like, girl, please, you know good and goddamn well that it was gonna make it back to Letitia, whether Kimmy said something or not. Letitia was gonna feel a way about you being at Mel's house and talking about her marriage with Marcel. So to me, that's some bullshit. You just trying to have a moment on the reality show. I think Tiffany is trying to make sure she keep her spot because they got a baby coming. So she needed to make sure that she put 20 on 10 with her feelings about Kiki being, not loyal. And I think Stormy, it was the same thing. I think all of the newbies were there to collect their check and prove that they could be valuable in this space. So they created arguments where we didn't need any. Because to me, a fucking argument about that Christmas party from 2021 is ridiculous in 2023.
Who brought up the conversation? I can't even remember.
Well, Kiki brought it up to Kimmy. Mm-hmm. And then she also mentioned the things that Stormy was saying. I think it was Kimmy or Kiki that mentioned the things that Stormy said. Stormy heard her name. And so then they joined, the other ladies in the conversation. And Stormy basically says, if you thought something was wrong with what I said, you should have checked me, but you didn't. So it's like, so she should have checked.
Still wasn't,
but she was still being messy.
And at the end of the day, Kiki still wasn't checking her. And I feel like she really didn't check Kimmy. She more so gave her energy to Tiffany. So it's like, what are we really doing here?
Making a moment.
At the end of the day, you and Tisha both have to be held accountable for the bullshit y'all both did.
Okay.
I ain't mind you telling on Tisha or saying anything about Tisha because that's what you did, BIT. What goes around comes around, and it came around a little closer to home. You can't be sitting up here trying to throw stuff up in Mel face and then turn around. Your cousin and threw up some stuff that you had going on. So, I mean, like, y'all both got to take accountability for whatever bullshit y'all had going on and stop trying to put it out on other folks. And now I was kind of with Tiffany. At the end of the day, it is like, that's your cousin. You should have some type of allegiance to your family, like, at the end of the day, but you didn't. Even when you got invited to Mel's house, you should have known that was your cousin before you went and you said whatever you said. But Tiffany, you was doing a lot too. Like, everybody was doing a lot. And it's crazy because it wasn't even that deep of a damn situation.
It wasn't.
It wasn't that deep.
He didn't even say nothing like that.
It wasn't even.
It was the fact that she didn't say nothing at all. I'm like, yeah, I can't.
She played herself, really, because she did. Tisha outed her shit. Tisha put it out there that you was addicted to drugs and you were stealing people's fucking medication when they was having C-sections. So to me, Kiki should have sprayed Tisha and Marceau. I think she was the one that really was holding back because she didn't want to ruin her relationship with Tisha. But I think she felt pushed into a corner because she was supposed to be on this show in order to help her rectify fucking up her life with doing drugs and shit, right? Mm-hmm. So Tisha is blocking her from getting on the show because Tisha is competitive and doesn't want Kiki on this show because she thinks it'll take the spotlight away from her. So she, I think she sabotaged Kiki getting on the show.
And that's the gag for me though, Bondi, because you slick sit. I don't care what nobody say. Tisha wanted to deny that there was any competing between she and her cousin, but the moment your cousin went off to A&M and then you went too, it's giving. It was definitely competition. I think Kiki wanted a scholarship that you ended up getting, or whatever or she told you about the scholarship she wanted for herself, but you ended up getting. Girl, it's been giving every bit of competing. But the gag for me is you want to sit on a reunion and try and refer to somebody as a dark soul and whatever else you want to say, but the whole time you trying to block your cousin out for being on the same level as you. And while you sitting there, and Kiki, you a good one. Because this BIT remind me of an ex-friend of mine, and I just wouldn't be friends with no bitch like that.
Jamie, this
bro, we good. I
can tell that this turned you into another dimension. Cause you was triggered.
Do you hear me? Triggered. Like, bitch, not you to sat up here trying to stop this girl from an opportunity so you could one up her, and she probably came to you and brought information to you or whatever. Ain't no telling. But girl,
y'all remember she defended her? Remember she defended her to Kimmy? Like, that was the whole thing. Like, you were supposed to help her get on the show, and you didn't. You used her as backup when you didn't want to be held accountable for talking shit about Mel behind her back. And to me, like, the fact that Tisha let that ruin her relationship with Kimmy to this day is really going all the way back to you not wanting to admit that y'all was talking shit about Mel, even though we seen you on camera doing it. Tisha, make it make sense.
Just be out here capping.
It don't make none at all. One of the other things that didn't make no damn sense is how Martell and Sheree is trying to press this relationship onto us. But now that we're seeing it filmed and we're seeing their reactions in real time, Sheree is going to embarrass herself for yet another season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Because Sheree ends up calling Martell on the phone, and he looks and says, "It's Sheree." And he ignores her.
He was clearly annoyed.
He was.
It's Sheree. She knows I'm hanging out with her.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it looks like Sheree's whole season of Atlanta is going to be about Martell. So, y'all, do y'all want to comment on this scheme or this story that they set up, acting like they're going to have kids?
I want to say this. I feel like to Martell, this could have been a game the whole time, because that's what Martell does, play games. But Sheree probably saw like real potential and really trying to make this a thing. And probably the person that always calls him first and calls him all the time and seeing what he doing and this and that. And he just not on you like that. And I hated that you at your big grown age, but y'all in the talking stage like y'all some late teenagers or something like that. Like, and the whole thought of her having more kids, I'm like, Sheree ain't trying to have more kids. What Sheree is trying to do is have more kids coming at her house to visit, which are your fucking kids, the 5 ones that you do have. But as far as having a 6th child, that's a lie. Okay, don't believe that at all. What else did I want to say? I think that was pretty much. Oh, I did want to say this. I know we're not talking about housewives, but I do not mind Sheree getting played about Martell the way she sat up in them interviews and tried to talk SHI about Candy, the same person that would sit up there and support you down to the ground. And I don't like this. So you get what you get. Let's move on.
I agree. I'm glad it's not just me that notices these things, that Candy be helping y'all raggedy ass bitches, and then y'all use any opportunity to stand on her back and shade her in the process. Like, you ain't shit essentially as a person when you do stuff like that for people that go out there with to help you when they don't have to. Because I feel like you wouldn't have got back on Real Housewives of Atlanta if it wasn't for Candy and them always advocating for your raggedy ass, even without a storyline. Y'all could have brought somebody in new who actually had tea going on. Sheree is too old for Martell. Let's keep it a buck. Let's be real.
Well, old in age, but not in the mind. Which is why I feel like they go together. He
immature, but he is not going to get over the fact that she is much older. And even though essentially Martell wants a woman that's going to take care of him, like that's what he wanted out of Mel, because apparently Marlene didn't do her job correctly. So he's looking for a mother figure in all of the women that he's in relationships with. He still doesn't want to be with somebody that's, for one, thirsty, for one, can't actually provide for him, and number 2 is that much older than him. The sugar mama shit only works with people like the girl Melnika. Oh, Melnika, she the type. Yeah, I can fuck you, I can give you dick for what you do for me, but we can't be together, bitch. I can't be your man like that. And it's because Mel has set such a high standard for Martell. Every woman he's with, he's going to compare to Mel. So if you can't make money, look beautiful, and, you know, also bring in opportunities and all of that type of shit, if you aren't as successful, beautiful, and a resource to him and young as Mel was, then you're not good enough to be put on Mel's level as wife. So just know, until he finds like someone closer to Mel in age, access, smarts, all of that, like we all know that girl, Sheree ain't really doing nothing over there. That's the reason we don't like her. Is because she fake. She may look good, but why you ain't come out with like workouts and shit like that? Why you coming out with clothes that you ain't really selling people? Trying to overcharge folks for wrinkled ass t-shirts. You a fucking scammer, bitch. Like that's what it's giving. That you a fucking scammer. And Martell knows you a scammer because scammers recognize other scammers, and we may be able to scam together, but bitch, I can't wife you because you can't really support me because you a scammer. Allegedly.
I mean, it just gives me the way that both of y'all, like, first I was saying Jamie was triggered, but then you know when you really start feeling shit, Bonnie said bitch. I was like, ooh.
I'm sorry, y'all, because when I really thought about it, like Sheree be doing a lot. Y'all, Sheree defended Kim Zolciak. Like, she's when you want to talk about an opportunist, you want to talk about somebody that's out for self and can be pulled any which way, no integrity whatsoever.
Yeah, whatever way the wind blow.
Yeah, whatever seems beneficial in the moment is what she's going to do. When you talk about you bitches ain't loyal, that's Sheree.
That's why she get along with Marlo. I wish she talked about how she had to get it out the mud too. But she don't talk about that. So next thing I want to talk to y'all about from I almost said Married at First Sight, Love Marriage Huntsville, is Kimmy, Tisha, and Mel meeting up and trying to keep it cute. Low key, I said in my review, I personally feel like Tisha is enjoying this cordial, fake friend, fake nice more than Mel. I think that Mel is doing a really good job to where you can tell that it's fake. You can tell that she's literally being the definition of cordial. Thank you for inviting me. Having a great day. Tisha is doing a little bit more. I think that Tisha is low-key hopeful that they can forge some type of friendship. I don't even know if I'm going to call it a friendship. But I think that she wants to get along with Mel while also wanting to be the lead on the show. That's what this episode looked like to me. And I'm getting too far ahead. But whenever we seen the scene, number one, it was two things that made me think about it. Number one was the fact that you also threw Kimmy a party after Mel already threw her a party, right? It was almost like you had to redo it and put your name on the stamp and have the last word as far as celebrating Kimmy. So that was one. Number two for me was that y'all did the same comeback group presentation that we saw a long time ago. And is this when the tides turn on the show and all of a sudden this boss chick that your husband is working hard to set you up for on the show is who you think that you're going to present to us. And then you'll end up becoming the male of the show. I might be reaching, but that's just how I feel. So I feel like it will be easier for Tisha to get to that if her and Mel are not at odds. So that's why I feel like she's enjoying this cordialness and she's really getting along with the get along. But that's just my opinion. I think she want to be that girl on the show. And I think this is just an easier way for her to do it. So as far as the sit down, and y'all can comment on that too. Let me know what y'all thought about the sit down.
I didn't see no cordial in Tisha.
You didn't? You didn't see
No, you didn't see her attitude? She hugged her when she came in. You see her too when she was sitting down?
I still don't. I think the attitude came from Kimmy saying, what can we do to get y'all back right? And I think she rolled her eyes because she didn't want to get into a conversation of what she's done wrong. But when she showed up, she was like, look at you looking like a big Mariah. And then when she showed up at the comeback group meeting, you talking about who she's dating. Then whenever she was on the phone with Kimmy, you said, can I speak to her? So what I'm seeing is a lot of like, Mel is being cordial and Tisha's just moving an inch just a little bit further by making an unnecessary comment that's on the verge of friendly and not necessarily cordial.
Gotcha. I mean, you might have a point with that. I was just more so focused on that sit down with the three ladies because Tisha was welcoming and then her attitude just went sour. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Kimmy asking y'all, like, what's your thoughts? And you over there like, And it's like, well, bitch, you didn't have to come if you didn't want to be there. Like, that's what her mood was giving to me. Now, as the episode went on, I mean, she definitely got a bit more nicer. And I think that that's where your point definitely comes in. She wants to be on a better accord with Mel. And I didn't even think about that point of, oh, she wants to be that girl of the show. Because you could be right on that. But I definitely got it as, for me, it was giving, she needs something from Mel, right? So that's why she's showing up in a different way. So for me, I was thinking, oh, she wants this expo to move forward versus she want to be that girl of the show. I ain't think about that one, but you could definitely have a point. But I know it definitely boils down to her being nicer now because she wants something. And that something could be to keep that check because Carlos definitely got them together. Or it could be that she want to be in charge of the girls.
And they've been setting us up for that since last season. Like her and Marceau, even with the ties,
it won't happen.
Of all of a sudden, you can tell that your wife should be a partner, or all of a sudden we know that Tisha's the owner of the company. Like, I feel like this is a setup. This is a scheme to basically erase her of being seen as like, you dumb, you ignorant, you naive. Yes, this is a scheme to rebrand Tisha.
Well, I told y'all that last season when he was bringing her the coffee at the beginning of the season. I said, "Oh, nah, he bringing you coffee." When all of the other seasons, he was just the assistant that was aggravating him when he was having meetings with people.
And now he wants to recognize his faults and bring his raggedy ass daddy, who I don't even believe is his daddy, onto the damn show. Now you want to bring this man on, and then now you want to recognize your fault. Like, I mean, that's a good observation there, Necey, because it's definitely to change the image of what we've seen of her.
I keep saying I don't believe nothing about Marceau and Tisha's storyline. So before I start commentary on it, I always say I want to preface this with telling y'all I don't believe nothing that Tisha and Marceau say because they lie like rugs. Okay. The thing that made me know that Necey is right about Tisha trying to become the it girl is when she said that she, Mel, and Kimmy are the original, three women, and they're, kind of the leads. Okay. And because they're the original three and the leads of the comeback group and of the show, they should all come together. I think it's both things, Jamie. I think she is trying to use Mel because she was trying to use Mel for the expo because she can't pronounce X. And it aggravates me to no end. Bitch, expo event. What is going on?
Expo. The expo. It was multiple times.
You know why she upsets me? Because I feel like we're all telling you, Tisha, that we don't believe what you're giving us. Whenever you try to read somebody, whenever you try to act like you know what you're talking about, whenever you try to assert yourself, we can read that it's bullshit, that you don't believe it. And so when you do it, it makes us feel uncomfortable. When she was giving her PowerPoint, we like, girl, we don't believe it.
Because how you got 3 degrees or however many you got, but you're giving a presentation with your back to the audience. I said, girl,
and we learned
that
off of it.
High school. What you doing?
Girl, college.
Dog peep.
Verbatim, reading verbatim.
Another reason why I'm like, okay, I know you want to be that girl. I think she wants to move into the position of, I orchestrate the events. I orchestrate the group coming together, and I want to be the nucleus. Me and Mel can get along, but I'll invite you to what I got going on. Whereas that's what we saw at the beginning. But I know that for a fact because when she sat down with Kimmy mentioned how all 3 of them is the reason why the group is together, yada, yada, yada. And that the group wouldn't be what it was without one of them being, without one of them, right? Then when it came down to the Black Business Expo presentation, Kimmy was saying to Tisha, you can't be asking somebody to do something for free when they're on a different level. And she was referencing Mel being on a different level than them as far as her following. Tisha was triggered and said, but we're all on a different level.
Definitely was triggered.
Yeah, no, since you got on the show, yes, but y'all are not on the same level as Mel. Tisha, as much as people defend you and fight for you on this show, you do not have a fan base. Like, not the way Mel has a fan base. The reason why Mel's businesses do so well is because she has a strong fan base. For all of the women that have been in fucked up relationships, for all of the young women in their 30s now that don't want to be forced to be in marriages where they are unhappy simply because they've had a whole bunch of kids with a nigga, or simply because he's so fine and we should be so lucky. Her continuing to be successful after their marriage is a sign to all women that you can do this too. And everybody hates her for it that wants to stay in their current bullshit space. So for Tisha to even come up to us with this, it's like, girl, you don't even believe in yourself enough for us to take you seriously in this role. And Marceau doesn't take you seriously in this role either. You don't even command shit in your household. You had to the way she said and explained to this nigga about him giving her office away, and homeboy came in for 5 minutes and made the point, and all of a sudden, ding.
Thank you. And that's the same thing they did with the damn dad. And this is where I have to go back to Necey's point and give her credit, because I'm as we're talking more about this show, I'm seeing more and more clear of what the hell you're saying, because it's not just Tisha trying to be the girl. It's on it's all of them trying to put Tisha and Marceau in the spot that Melody and Martell were when they first started this show.
The problem, though,
yes,
the
so
problem,
I see
though,
you. We see each other.
Reenacting the beginning. They're reenacting the beginning.
Yes.
And thinking that we can start over with this new dynamic.
But correct. See, we can't, because we know too much. And what we know is Tisha's a doormat and Marceau takes advantage of her. And we're even now starting to point out shit about Maurice and Kimmy that we weren't seeing before. We're not as gullible as we were when this show first started. So we can't go back to a perfect marriage that just has some issues. That's not going to work when we know that there's other shit that's happened that y'all don't want to address. Especially in last episode when Stormy was trying to bring up Marceau's cheating rumors and Tisha kept saying she don't want to talk about it. Okay, so if we're going to continue to ignore what we know has taken place in real time, then you can't be Mel, because Mel put her own shit on blast. That's the thing people don't get. Mel made the initial sacrifice by putting her own shit on blast for being honest about everything that was going on. That's why I hate when people call her fake all the time, because I'm like, she actually is probably the realest person on the show. Everything y'all say about her is a reflection of somebody that's being too real for how everybody wants them to be. She was too honest about the cheating and everybody was mad at her about that. And now that she feels like, I shouldn't be in this space, I'm better than this, everybody's mad at her for feeling that way, but we all know it's true. Like, we want her to go and do Real Housewives of Atlanta or some shit. Like, girl, you could do something else. You don't even need, like, that's the funny part. She doesn't need the show. When they talk about how the ratings for the show are going down, I'm like, that matters, but I don't think that really matters to Mel the way it matters to the other people on the cast.
I can see that.
Yeah, I saw this comment from Nika, and it says they're trying to prepare for if Mel leaves. That makes sense. They're lightweight, trying to take all the weight off of Mel and build Tisha a fan base so the show can continue on. And then I learned
good too.
Comment.
That little short blonde bob with the lighter hair in the back and a warmer colors closer to her face.
I did like that. Tisha did look good with that, but it's still not enough to make her that girl for me.
It's not. You would have to be brave enough to put your husband on blast and stand in your shit. That's the only thing that works on reality TV, is like that blunt honestness, especially in these situations. In 2023, we know the formula. So you can't bullshit an audience anymore. We need it to be real in 2023. Yeah.
I'm laughing at this comment, this question. Could y'all see the show continuing if Mel left? And I'm like, one, it's not continuing now because the views are dropping. Two, they already tried that with Tisha and her family. And what had me cackling was the fact that I referred to them as the PJs. And that's why I'm over here laughing like, girl, ain't nobody finna watch that shit. We just not, they barely watching now. Like, no, for real. Wanda is not gonna be enough to save y'all. Like,
it's not enough. But you know what killed me though? It's Carlos. Carlos is so delusional and I can't stand it, Like, I wish he wasn't like this. But to me, it's kind of like a byproduct of why shit is not working, because there's a level of dishonesty taking place. Like when he did these, he's done all these interviews and shit with Martell, and he gets up there and he says these really disingenuous statements, like, women forget about their husbands when they get to a certain level, and all of this bullshit that he's talking about, then saying that, he does like Candy. He and Mel are really good friends. All of those things are like delusional moments, because we know they aren't true, and you still say them out loud to people as if we can't see what's happening. So it's hard for the reality show to do well when nobody's being real. Like, not even
it starts to get stale, it turns, and you can't recover from that. And not unless you get new blood to be all the way real. And to be honest, I don't even know if then it might just need to be a new champion franchise.
I could see that. I could see it being a new champion franchise, but I do think that he could use some new couples.
Yeah,
and probably move some of them to the back. Like,
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if that will work. I don't know if having new couples will work, because it feels like a production issue to me. So, for instance, you know that Tisha and Marceau have more shit going on, and you allow them not to talk about it on the show. You have Tiffany and Lewis on the show. Shit starts happening with them. All of a sudden, they disappear. We don't see shit from them until the baby pops up. Now they're back on the show. So when shit was actually going on that would have been entertainment, you allowed people to step back because y'all crack under the pressure of shit being too ghetto. When really everybody that was making those complaints was full of shit. Wanda was doing too much. The show was not ghetto. It was never Love and Hip Hop. Like, y'all can say what y'all want to say, but until Wanda came into the picture, it was never Love and Hip Hop, meaning there were no physical altercations like that. Okay, until Wanda came in the picture. Once y'all scooted Wanda to the side, that wasn't really an issue anymore. But I feel like now, because of how messy the show is, y'all are trying too hard to fix it, and in essence, taking away what gives reality shows their real value. The reality of the situation. And we're not getting that. We're getting produced moments. We're getting everything's produced. The people are even producing themselves. Like, we know Mel don't see it for none of these people. We know Tisha don't like Mel. We know Marceau we know Martell loves Mel, can't stand, well, not really love her, but he wants her. But
obsessed.
But he's obsessed. He's angry. Like that scene that they had, he moves the seat. And then, acts all calm. But when she walks in the room, we can see him wanting to jump out of his damn skin because she looks so good and he just can't have it and he can't touch it and that's killing him. We can see all of that shit, but nobody's talking about it. So, yeah. I mean, even with Kimmy and Maurice, like, we're going to keep acting like Maurice isn't showing himself to be an even bigger asshole than his brother sometimes. Like, we ignore so many good moments so that y'all can protect the cast, and it's giving, well, if we need to protect them that much, they don't need to do this anymore. But nobody wants to give it up because it's a nice check and it does well for everybody's business.
Say that. That's what that conversation with Kimmy was about. It was about, hey, we done had a conversation off camera about how we gonna get along to get this check. Let's have one on camera so they can see us have this conversation and nobody has questions about why now all of a sudden y'all church hugs. But yeah, to your point, Bonnie, I don't know how much of a difference it'll make if we get new people. Because my first thing was like, maybe we should get new people. But then I was like, literally every time we asked for somebody new, we got somebody new on this show. For the most part, they just haven't pulled the original 6 off. Yeah. We got Destiny. And
y'all didn't force her to tell us shit.
Tiffany and Lewis.
Then we got
Kiki, Stormy.
Yeah, every time we've asked for somebody new, pretty much there's been somebody new on the show, and it still hasn't been enough to really shake the table and get the show back to where we would like it to be. So I really don't know. I guess we'll just have to see.
To that comment that said Love and Marriage Huntsville needs to go back to being raw, they won't, they can't, they will never. And the reason for that, Bondi already kind of explained it. The show thrived off of the business of Martell and Melody for about at least 4 seasons or so, right? So they can't, like, they became those people. Like, the show was really centered around them, you know, even when it kicked off. So they're not together. They're not going to go back because now we're tired. Who want to see them bicker, you know what I'm saying, forever about their divorce? Like, it's oh so long you can continue to do that, especially when one person is evolving past that relationship. Like, nobody wants to see it. So the best thing they can do is have real serious issues, or I'm not going to say serious, but real stuff going on with them, i.e. Kimmy and Maurice, outside of just the cancer situation. And Tisha and Marcel gonna have to really talk about some challenging things that they've been through in their marriage, because that is love and marriage, and not just talk about how he sees her as less than because she's a woman. And y'all need to find a better couple that's gonna be able to carry the show.
A household like that. This scene, this past episode with them in the house with the kids, was probably the first time we had seen them in a house in seasons.
Yeah, I know. We ain't seen that house in a minute. I don't even know if they were still in that house.
Because they not. That's a different house, and that house is smaller. But they wanted to show us that Marceau is doing something other than acting like an asshole. So we got to have family dinner where you make everybody feel a way about the fact that Tisha didn't cook dinner. Like, I was just kind of like, nigga, I really wish that you would just hang it up already, because we're tired. Like, we're all tired of your 1950s misogynistic bullshit ass mindset on how relationships should go. We tired, and we really just want to get to the bottom of it. Tell us the truth of your origin story like a real villain, or get the fuck out of our faces.
No, okay? For real. What is the origin story? Was your daddy there or was he not?
Right, because that's just so confusing. You want to brag about your dad to Maurice and how he was and how he looked out for his kids, but then y'all talk about your daddy leaving the house and y'all had to work when y'all was like 10, 11, 12. What are we talking? That's why I said that ain't your daddy. I don't care. Your nose ain't even like this man's nose.
Listen, I'm glad you brought that up, Jamie, because during the conversation with Martell, Marceau, and Maurice, every time Marceau said something about the daddy, Maurice tried to interject to counteract what he was saying. And Marceau would interrupt him. So,
I didn't know that.
Yes. Like,
what I did notice was Martell's first reaction was, dang, 8 kids and your daddy didn't dip out on y'all?
He said we weren't poor, and he was like, we didn't even know we were poor. And Maurice was like, yeah, until we got in high school. And then he was like, and even then we weren't really poor, we were just broke. And Maurice was like, I'll give you that. But to me, it sounded like there were a few times where I heard Maurice trying to say something, and Marceau would just cut him off like, no, we're not going to act like we were poor. We're going to act like we just had to do more, you know, to make it. We had more responsibilities. But no, we're not going to act like he wasn't there, because then
he was sleeping in the church.
Right. That's not what they had told us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, y'all be up here lying, bro. I don't think that's his daddy. I don't, and for the record, I don't think he has his mama know his daddy knows. I just don't. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe she could have shaped it or something. You know, when you have your newborn, you're supposed to, like, you know, but do what you want to do.
They do that to noses.
My mama shaped my nose.
Okay,
she didn't shape my older brother nose. His nose is a little wide, but the rest of her kids, she was like, oh, let's go.
I heard about the belly buttons, but
my dad did that to me.
Nose.
He would call it, let me pull your nose. That's what he would say. But that's what
she shaped my son's nose too.
He would always do that, like grab and squeeze my nose when I was smaller, because he didn't want me to have his nose. He has the cauliflower nose, and my mom had a very thin nose. I personally believe my nose was gonna look like this, whether he was grabbing it or not. But I'm gonna leave him alone. I think it was gonna look like this either way, sir. I don't think you grabbing it all the time really did anything. But okay, if that's what you felt like you needed to do.
Well, sure.
I was cute. I don't know.
What else y'all got on Love, Marriage, Huntsville?
Hold up, let me think. Storm was messy as fuck. Are we gonna admit that?
Who was it?
Storm.
Messy about what?
In that scene when Mel was like,
at Mel's house.
Well, no, not at Mel's house. At the spot.
At the spot. When she said that's how you move forward through stuff, by talking about it.
Yeah, she was being very passive aggressive by the way she said that shit. Like, you know, you have conversations, you talk about it, but bitch, not at the spot. That's why I'm talking right here.
Girl, you know how they do on reality TV. They do not care where you are. We literally just saw Love and Marriage DC. Then what's that man's name? Jamie, did he snap off on his wife at the salt room or something? Didn't they have like some conflict?
No, he didn't snap off on her at the salt room. That was at that party that they threw.
Is it back?
No,
it's not back yet.
Okay.
But to me, I feel like for Mel, when she came back in and said, "This is not what we wanted for today," it felt like producer telling talent, y'all are going to make it hard for us to come back to this spot. So can y'all please shut the fuck up? Because we come here when we're not filming. So don't fuck up our relationship with these people by continuing to scream at the top of your lungs while having this conversation.
The simple ass conversation that it really ain't about nothing. So
ain't about nothing. You should have told me shut fuck up then. Why you ain't tell me shut up then? Because that's what I would have did. Stormy girl, please stop. Like, I'm sorry.
Trying to buck up.
But see, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair to comfort Stormy and not comfort Tiff, because Tiff was on the same energy, even with her being pregnant. Okay.
I agreed with Stormy. I did. I think I agree with Stormy. If you felt some type of way, you should have said something. But it's something about with Stormy, I get aggravated because she always try to come off as like too real. Like, you know, she try to buck up like, yeah, I'm down home type girl. I ain't doing all this
cry when people call you ghetto.
Right. And then you're gonna go above and beyond and try to be cool with everybody. So while she was right, you should have said something to me. The way it was like, you should have shut up. It was like, pick which one you want to be. Do you want to be too real for the shit, or do you want to be friends with everybody?
That's a great point.
Also, when Mel was leaving, I caught that, oh, you good? You good? I'm good. See, you got to have conversations sometimes. And everybody looking at Mel, and she's like, okay, well, if you feel like that was proper, that's your thought. And, she's like, okay, well, you enjoy the rest of your dating. I will. It's going to be amazing. Okay, well, Biden, like, I heard her louder than everybody.
Yeah.
So to me, I felt like it was a moment where you're challenging Mel, and Mel not even specifically talking to you. She's just saying, y'all all doing too much for me in this moment. So I'm going to go.
I did agree with her on that.
No, this is what we need to do.
No, I did agree. I think everybody was doing a whole fucking lot. It just wasn't that deep. Like to even get attitudes or yell, be loud. Like about what? At the end of the day, Kiki got herself in the hole. What we yelling about?
I'm glad you brought up Tiffany. Let's talk about Tiffany because she worked on my fucking nerves. Let me tell you something, bitch. You don't, Tiffany. I like you. I'm not really calling you a bitch. I'm talking how I talk. I'm sorry. Okay, I like you, Tiffany. It is your responsibility to remember you pregnant. It's not everybody else's responsibility in the room to remember to ignore you being antagonistic because you're pregnant.
Did you think she was? I didn't think she did anything wrong.
Yes, I did. She was being to me more sincere than Stormy because she started the conversation with Mel in a whole nother room. And then they came into that room, they started going back and forth, and she started getting loud with Kiki.
Well,
and
I never on things that I don't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I thought she was still talking pretty calm, in my opinion.
It's not that she wasn't calm, but to me, you can simply state or feel like I don't fuck with somebody without feeling like you need people to validate you not fucking with them. And I feel like she basically went around the room trying to get everybody to validate that Kiki was disloyal, which we agree to. But bitch, what does it matter to you?
And she was coming with that energy because she was being very clear that she did not like this lady just a few minutes ago. And so she was on some other shit.
To me, it was only for the show.
Yes,
to make sure that she gets her next season pass because she knew she was up for grabs with Destiny's ass. I think everybody's scared because they recognized that Destiny was not there. They didn't think Carlos was going to let nobody go. And so when Destiny didn't show up and she wasn't filming, I think everybody was like, okay, so we're going to have to show up and show out.
Yeah.
She was trying to contribute to the scene.
She was.
Yeah.
But I also feel like at the beginning of it, like before we got to this episode, the previous one, she and Tiffany were being especially like messy to me, bringing up the puppets. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just a lot of shit that Tiffany.
Oh yeah, about that. She did say that.
Yes, like so if I did this, then like it's like, come on, girl. Like she was going at Tisha too, and calling Tisha childish. She was right, and she was right.
allegiance to Tisha to be feeling
to be feeling anyway
about Kiki. Exactly. You just finished going at Tisha calling her childish for the fucking puppets, and now you turn around talking about she was crying real tears, and I was just feeling away because that's, you know, I don't understand, because I've never had family like this, so maybe I don't understand. Girl, you're trying to have a moment and you're trying too hard and you're pregnant, and everybody's trying to be mindful of you being pregnant, and I personally want you to be fucking mindful that you're pregnant and just say your opinion and then scoot back.
Then scoot back.
Was out of breath getting that opinion across. It was like
she girl. It for me, it was when she was like, I do know what I'm talking about, because really you don't. Like, let's be clear. We all can look at Tisha and Kiki's situation and know that Kiki ain't pulling like her disdain for Tisha out her ass. Like, we know that Tisha has done things to get Kiki to this point. So for Tiffany to feel so strongly that you need to let this lady know at a fucking spa that you don't fuck with her because of what you saw happen on the show, even when you weren't there. Yeah, y'all, that was given. I'm trying to have a moment for the show.
Yeah, I have to agree. As I'm looking back, I'm thinking back about the scene. They both went in there, Stormy and Tiffany, to have some shit to like start. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say start no shit, but definitely to have some shit, to have a moment, because Tiffany just had the conversation, and then you got Stormy over here like, I heard my name. So,
and she did the puppet thing too, but they didn't zero in on her. But she did the puppet shit with her hand too. And that's why I was just kind of like, yeah, bitch, you was there for mess too. And I just kind of felt like she was purposely trying to like challenge Mel in that Mel came in as producer. Like, Mel came in as producer. It's not what we wanted for the scene today, ladies. Like, that's the vibe it was given.
And you can tell by the way that she dismissed herself, because one thing you don't never see on reality TV is people dismiss themselves unless like they pissed, you know, they cut the scene, they mad. But you don't ever see people just be like, I gotta go home. You remember whenever Kim Zolciak used to do that all the time, and they was getting pissed because her husband would come pick her up in the middle of the scene?
Yes.
That's kind of, you could tell Mel was like, this is not what I thought the scene was going to be. I don't have it in me today for this. So with that being said, since this ain't what we agreed to, I'm going home.
It definitely was giving producer, and it was also giving teacher. When Mel got up, I was like, kind of like, why the fuck is you up here whispering like that? Girl, talking your normal voice.
Lost her voice.
But what I also thought about too was, well, shit, y'all niggas was just loud as hell. She probably trying to show y'all how y'all really need to be talking at this damn spot.
It was, we're going to bring it down here.
The etiquette class. That's why we're going to get etiquette.
And exactly. That's why we need an etiquette class, because y'all don't know how to calm the fuck down when y'all communicate your feelings. And I need y'all to bring it down. Yeah. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. I was just talking about this. That y'all, I'm so ignorant sometimes, but there's something I do not like doing, and that's arguing in public. I do not like getting loud and arguing in public places. That is embarrassing to me to be that couple. So I'm not doing that with nobody. So when they were getting loud like that and she got up and walked out, to me, it felt like, I don't want to be associated with this. Like, that's what it gave me.
I can see that too.
So to me, it felt more of an embarrassment on behalf of the Black people at these people's spy filming a reality show, screaming and hollering, disturbing everybody. Yeah. I hope they was closed down for the day. I hope that nobody else was there getting a massage, because I would have been mortified, because I'm one of the people that I don't want to hear shit when I'm getting my massage done, bitch. I don't want to hear you mortified. I would have been mortified, because I'm just saying, because me personally, I hate that shit. Yo, I've had massages and a bitch getting a wax, not too, and they screaming, and I'm just kind of like, bitch, I almost want to ask for my money back, because this is not what I came here for. I need quiet. I need peace. I pick up on shit, bitch. I am princess in the pea, okay? And shit aggravate me. So I felt away. Like, so to me, like, I feel like Mel is that type of person, you know, where they just kind of be like, I don't like to act the fool in public. So, yeah. And Stormy was like, no, this is good, because I'm good, you good. And I was like, girl, ain't nobody good. Y'all gonna argue some more in another scene. Ain't nobody
in another
good.
scene, Lord have mercy. It's coming.
But it was
well, cute. Next week should be entertaining, to say the least, because Martell gonna get escorted out of that damn birthday party.
Ooh, damn, I low-key want to ask y'all what y'all think about that.
I feel like bye. I do. I don't know the full scope about what all happened, but I kind of feel like
I think
you
he should.
know, he
I
could
think
have a separate party. But I feel like we dealt with this before. Didn't we deal with this in the
it was
previous season?
Kim and Kanye went through this
They
last year.
did. They did.
Last year, Kim said she was gonna call the police on Kanye for coming to the kid's birthday party, and that's when he went on a rant on Twitter, and everybody felt bad for Kanye. But now that
I know what it was. It was on the. It was kind of on the show. Remember when Martell and Mel weren't talking, and she ended up having a birthday party for their daughter or their daughters or something like that, and he didn't know anything about it, couldn't get access or whatever the case was. That I think it played out on social media, and then we may have saw it on the show later. So it's kind of like this ain't nothing new. So he should have kind of known what was up at that time.
Martell counts on the male-centered women that are going to feel sorry for him and feel like Mel is trying to keep him from the kids when really he's harassing Mel, and so she has to keep her space to protect herself. But they don't understand that part because they don't know what it's like to have a man harassing them because they're thirsty for a man. They feel like, oh, girl, I wish a man that fine was harassing me. Yeah, until the nigga is popping up at your job. Okay, until the nigga is destroying shit and fucking up your peace and giving you yeast infections, whatever.
And that's why he waits until these public moments to try to strategically make her look bad or make him look like the good guy. So I hope she do send his ass to jail. I mean, I hope the police do come escort him out because he shouldn't be there. And it really, that just lets me know it wasn't about the kids. Like, if he's refusing to leave, it was never about your daughter because you would rather see your daughter sit there and argue with your mama so you could manipulate your daughter into thinking that you were being kept away than to keep the peace at her birthday party. It was never about your daughter. So I don't even know. I ain't seen the episode, but I'm already guessing just based on his antics, that's what the fuck it's going to be.
And then he could have also set up something where it was like, is it okay if I'm at the, if I meet you guys at her birthday event to pick her up and we go do something later on that day? You know what I'm saying? He could have also made that work where when you guys are done, I won't intrude on what you got going on, but afterwards I like to take her out to eat. He could have played, you know what I'm saying? He don't want to co-parent properly.
Right.
Because he keep trying to get back with her.
And he uses every opportunity to do that, which is why you can't give him no space, because when you give him an inch, he takes a mile.
It is. We're gonna see this weekend, but it was two more things I wanted to talk to y'all about because I know I didn't keep y'all a long time. What else we gonna talk about this weekend is Real Housewives of Atlanta, which comes back on Sunday. But I jumped the gun. First of all, let's congratulate Candy, y'all. Candy was nominated for a Tony and